Hey, what's up guys? Here is Ale from Boutique Tones, and today we're gonna dive deep into the preset pack based on the PRS Arkon 50. Let's get right into it. So as you can see, we're using the Tonics interface, and this pack contains 13 different presets based on the 3 channels of the PRS Arkon 50 itself, which are divided in clean tones, dry tones, and high gain tones, of course. From now on, I'm gonna browse through all channels and presets and let you hear how they sound like. And I'm currently on channel 1, so on the clean channel, and using the very first preset, and it sounds pretty much like this. So kind of a warm preset, despite the fact that I'm using single coils, and of course if I were using an humbucker guitar probably it would have been even warmer. Let's move on to second preset, always based on the clean channel. Let's just do a quick comparison between the first one and the second one. So it's immediately brighter, I would say, maybe better for as you heard straight away, very different voicing for very different application, if you will. Let's move on the third one and let's hear what it sounds like. So immediately darker than the first one. Probably there is a little bit more body, even on the single notes. One thing I want to mention is that those presets are a good starting point, but of course, as you can see, you have all these knobs that are meant to be tweaked, are there for you to be tweaked and used, and you can start from a single preset, then add something if you want, or if you don't like some part of the sound you're hearing, maybe you can increase the mids, reduce the bass, do whatever you want, of course. For example, I really like this preset, and why not? I could just crank up the gain a bit more to give some more body to my sound, reduce a bit the mids and increase the highs. And why not adding some delay, maybe some tape delay, ping pong with 440, and adding some extra reverb here. So now I have this sound. There are thousands of differences depending on the pickup you're using, the way you're picking, the guitar you're having, literally the hood the guitar is made of. So please have a try. Don't be scared, don't be shy, just tweak as much as you want and start from a good sound and get where you want to go. Moving on to the fourth preset, which is the last clean one, coming from the third one. Let's hear it one more time. Okay, nice. In my opinion, here's a good compromise in between those three presets that we just heard. And in this fourth one, I feel it's kind of the most balanced one because we gained back some of those extra highs, but not too harsh. Very nice. It's now time to move on to the drive section. Let's go. So we're currently on the very first driven preset, and which is called the BT Arkon 50C. Apologize if I didn't mention the name of the other preset, but you can always rewind the video and take a look, because every time I'm talking about a preset, I've actually selected the preset and it changed color. So it has in orange, as you can see, so you can always keep track of the preset that I'm using at the moment. First driven preset, let's hear how it sounds like. Very mellow, very low gain based, at least with a Strat. One thing I really love about this preset is that despite the fact that I'm playing with a Strat with 3 single coils, and if you're a Strat player, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. This guy over here is responsible of a lot of headaches, because whether you love it or hate it, you know what I'm talking about. It's very difficult to manage the frequency range that this pickup pours into the mix. Unless you have a sound like this. And all these high frequencies are very well managed and very well contained. It sounds still pretty rounded despite the fact that I'm picking very hard, like. It's still very good sounding, and I don't feel like tweaking anything of this sound, but let's try cranking up just the gain to see if I crank it up too much, if these high frequencies get involved. Really love it. Moving on to the next one. Okay, definitely in this preset some of these extra highs came back. I like it because sometimes it depends from the use case. If I have some extra high frequency, I love it on the Strat especially, because when you pick very hard, they might be too much, but it's very nice when you want to do some sort of arpeggios, because it retains some sort of clarity when you're picking a single note with a lower dynamic. Let's say that, for example, I play this arpeggio. Etc, etc. As you heard, I was playing very, very lightly. I was barely touching the strings, and the clarity and the high end that this preset was maintaining, despite the fact that I was playing so soft, was very useful to still get a very pleasant sound for this arpeggio. On the flip side, if I wanted to play with full strength, picking very hard, open chords, this sound might be a little too much for me, maybe a little too harsh. But once again, we can address this And if I want to use this sound for this specific application, I might get back to the drawing board and just touch a bit of these controls and knobs over here. Maybe reducing the treble, just a touch, and the presence. The gain, it's up to you, maybe just a bit, and yeah, and try with this other type of sound. Despite all the hate from the analog gurus or the false myth regarding digital presets of not having any dynamic, you can really hear, especially using a Strat in this case, that with the same preset you can go from very mellow and clean tones up to and I haven't touched the volume, which usually is the way I do get cleaner or dirtier tones, but in this specific case, it's a very, very dynamic preset, and I love it. It's now time to move on to the third, preset of the driven section, which is called BT Arkon 50DBR, and it sounds like this. Pretty extreme to be played with a Strat because of the big amount of high frequency it has. I'll grab another guitar in a minute, but once again, when we find this type of sound, sometimes there are creative ways to make the most out of some characteristic of this preset. For example, I'm thinking of rolling off the volume a bit and using my thumb and fingers. You can find a way to get creative. Let's now switch on to definitely better performing guitar with these presets. So after this terrible transition, I have now in my hands an ESP, which is a completely different guitar, and let's hear how it sounds. I haven't changed or touched anything in the presets. It's a completely different sound, and this goes to show how much of a difference and how much of an impact it makes the guitar choice while you're using the same preset. So once again, don't be shy to try to tweak it or maybe to swap guitar, because sometimes you can make the most out of a single preset, just changing the pickup that you're using or taking another guitar. Maybe with this guitar, to me, it sounded a little bit too harsh and too confusional. And as I plug this guitar with the very same sound, everything to my ear at least, it sounds perfectly balanced and ready to be played. So, yep, have a try. It's now time to move on to the last preset of the driven section, which is called BT Encore 50E, and it sounds like this. I love this preset. It's so different from the previous one, which was way brighter. Let's hear it. You know when you crank an amp and you're on a big stage or in a rehearsal room and you can crank the amp not in terms of gain but in terms of master volume, and you get a very solid tone where you get a lot of sustain and compression that comes from the amp itself. I have the same feeling playing this preset right now. It's not super tight as a rhythmic sound and a rhythmic tone for a metal band, I would say, but it's a very solid rock tone that is great for rhythmic or leads. Yeah, a lot of sustain, is not going anywhere. And there is no compression in these presets, so very, very nice. It's finally time to move on to the high gain section. We have 5 presets, and this is the very first one, the BT Encore 50 EBR, and it sounds like this. Very mean. Straight hard rock metal tone. It can be used for so many different things, like going from, I mean, not a clean tone definitely, but it can be used in different applications like modern metal, modern rock, you name it. I mean, it's a very, very nice rhythmic tone. Time for preset F, so the second one in the high gain section. I just tuned my guitar in drop because I do love this tone. I'll show you. The most about these presets, and generally speaking all these pack, it's that no matter which type of voicing you're choosing, so whether very bright, very dark, warm, anything in between, you name it, you still keep a lot of clarity. And I choose to play this specific riff with this specific presets because despite this being the darker, to my ear at least, it still maintains a lot of clarity, and you could hear every single note of something like kind of an articulated riff, I will say, and I love it. It's very easy to play, and it really makes you want to grab the guitar and go. Moving on, the next preset, it's another high gain one, and it's the preset FBR, and it sounds definitely tighter and brighter in comparison to the previous one. I'll let you hear. Definitely more modern metal oriented, or maybe metalcore oriented. Don't kill me in the comment section for what I just said, but it sounds like this. Such a cool tone. So it's finally time to move on to the last 2 presets, which we might call the solo presets. As you can see, they come with different impulse responses. The BT Warm Fire, as opposed to the BT Fire, which basically is the one that we've been using throughout all this demo. And I highly encourage every time, please check out here on the impulse response tab, you can choose different impulse response to change the sound if you don't like it. Please don't take a look at all these names over here. I do have other presets and other packs. That's why you see all of those, but just keep in mind this preset comes with, comes with 5 different impulse responses, which are BT Fire, BT Fight, BT Focus, and then you'll find BT Warm Fire and BT Rage. I'll just grab the last preset we used and I'll go through all these different impulse response so that you can hear how different they might sound. Let's start with BT Fight. BT Fire. BT Focus. Pretty heavy. BT Rage, which is over here. Which its name describes the impulse response pretty well. And BT Warm Fire, which is the last one. As the name says, The BT warm fire, it's definitely impulse response, which sounds warmer. And it's nice to be used in combination with a lead tone. For example, this first lead preset, which is the BT Anchor 50G, which sounds like this. Time to move on to the last one, and let's hear what it sounds like. Which, in comparison to the previous one, it's a bit brighter, with bits wider and more open on the high end. Let's hear the difference. This is the last one. This is the other one we just played. Also in terms of single notes, this is warmer, and the last one, it's a bit brighter. So I might suggest you to use the previous preset, this one, maybe for playing solos when you're going up high on the fretboard, or simply you're using these last three strings, because it's, despite the fact that you can always get a warmer tone changing the pickup, of course, but it's nice to have something well-rounded every time you just hit a single note that has a bit more of a kick and body behind that. And on the flip side, I might suggest you to use this last preset, which I'm going to show you in a minute, for when you play themes or like lead parts that are on a lower register, in a register of frequencies that maybe it's already busy with other guitars playing rhythm parts. Something like... So as you heard, when you are in a busier register, I've never used these last two strings, and I always try to stay in the center part of the neck. It really helps when you have a bit more high, that helps you to cut through the mix and sits better in a kind of a busy register, as we already said. Yep, that's pretty much it. If you have any question, any doubt, please let us know in the comment. We always want to build content around your needings and requests. So don't be shy, let us know what you want to hear, what you want to see. And once again, this is Ale from Boutique Tones. Thanks for sticking by. See you on to the next one. Ciao!